Here's a little preview of the. I'll put my mustard field or mustard point. Cock back. Boom. 53K. Attention to this build. Now, here's how this build works. You're gonna get killed, shot by enemies. You wanna proc your venom. You can hit with your Tools of Tarsus. Oh, what? That was a miss. You get your Tools of Tarsus. You proc the enemies with the venom. Cock back, and boom. Now, if you pay close attention to my health, you can see that it increased drastically. Like here. I'll get hit by it. Bask in his glory. Admire his might. These, my friends, is the Great Ranger build. Well, I wouldn't say great. It's just what I use. Because, as you know, as you've heard, Ranger isn't really a dominant role, as to say, or very used or looked upon. There isn't many builds on YouTube. Well, I haven't looked for many builds on YouTube. But I have put together some sort of healer / high DPS build for me. I've took everything I came across or read upon and just put it into one unique build for me, which all synergizes and uniquely goes with everything that's on this build as per se, and everything that is equipped right now works in hand with everything else. Like, I'll start with my weapons per se. True to Tarsus and the Thunderbolt of Yevina. If you're not familiar with the weapons, here's the intrinsic perk on each one of them. Hitting a weak point on enemies under a status effect. So they have to be I believe they have to be primed, or they just have to be procced with any status effect, and it will detonate a chain of combo. Well, it'll set off a chain combo, meaning a chain combo. The status effect that's affecting the enemy, or the prime that's on the enemy, will spread to other enemies, if you did not know. And what you want to look for on your Truth of Tarsus is physical damage. That is a great bonus to have on your Truth of Tarsus. The Thunderbolt of Yevina. Now, this weapon is very unique. It's different from all the other weapons as you can use. This, what I normally use it for, because it has 33% chance to deal large electric damage. Now, I have this one because it has acid damage and it works with some of my builds that I have equipped. But I use it for the matter of fact that when I go into Grandmaster 1 and Grandmaster 2, they have shields. And it is very vital to you to take the enemy shield down, because I don't know, unless you haven't read upon Anthem or any game per se, you cannot proc or prime any enemy that has shields on. So yeah, you give them a couple of shots with this, you proc the lightning, it gets rid of their shields completely, then you prime them and detonate them. Simple as that. It's a very simple concept, very versatile, and quick way to get rid of enemy shields, especially those annoying scouts that snipe you from across the map. You can just run up on them, lay off a couple shots, and boom, they're dead in a matter of seconds. Now, for the more semi-complicated or semi-hard to understand part is your components. Now, your components intertwine with each other in a certain way. Like, my airborne advantage increases impact damage by 50% and decreases blast damage by minus 20%. Hovering increases all resistance by 10. You may not think that's a lot, but in some cases it may be a lot. Increase all weapon damage by 25% on low health. Increase gun damage by 25%. So all in all, when you get the low health, that is an extra 50% worth of damage on your Thunderbolt or your Truth of Tarsus. Firearm calibration core. This intertwines and stacks with this buff right here. This is the masterwork version of this, I believe. And if you did not know, as I stated, if you didn't watch my last video, components do stack depending on their rarity. But you remember this, masterworks do not stack with legendaries because they have the same intrinsic perk, and I don't want to get into that in this video. Vanguard's badge increases melee damage and electric effect by 30% of base. So this intertwines goes real well with the Thunderbolt, because the electric effect that lets off is increased even more. Melee performing a melee kill restores 20% shields. We're not going to really look into shields because this is a healing build and it heals your armor and not your shields. This one, I'd give it a. I'll give or take this. When I go into my super, I haven't seen the effect actually proc and give me that much super back, so you can in turn replace it with an epic or another masterwork if you so please, or you can just keep this on. Tip of the spear. Now this is where the build happens. On top of every other DPS notion of this build, this is where most of your healing will come from. Increase combo damage by 50%. Now, performing a combo restores 40% armor. So that is 40% health being restored to you when you detonate an enemy, as I say. Whether you detonate it with your Truth to Tarsus or your abilities, they both work, they both proc the heal. Now, it varies in certain situations. Your teammates may or may not get the heal. I've tested it a little bit, and personally, it has worked for me. So I'm not going to fully well say it does not work completely, but I have heard situations where it may not work for other people. But for me, it has worked in the past or recently. Now, onto my abilities. My assault launcher, I use Tactical Onslaught. And what are these is the upgraded version of Venom Darts. These Venom Darts seek out the target, seek out a single target and proc them with Venom. And that's how you get your prime off and then detonate them with your second ability. Now how this works is it permanently gets an extra charge, so you can keep just spamming this as long as you don't, spit them out at a constant rate. But which you don't have to. You don't completely have to just spam them. You can just proc an enemy and then, detonate them and be on your way. But this is very good for when you're in a boss melting situation to help your team out. Just proc acid on your on the enemy that's in question. You pop your bulwark and then, boom, you pop your super. Also, one thing Venom rarely does that I need to touch on this again, Venom decreases the enemy's defenses, so they take more damage. So if you have a chance and you're on your ranger, I would keep this on just for the team synergy and helping your teammates out in case you're in a random queue, so you can get rid of that boss way quicker. My last argument. Now I have this as legendary. You can have it at any rarity you have that's available to you, but you will want to run this in this build. But yeah, what this does is hitting enemies at 700% ultimate charge. Now understand this, hitting enemies, you have to therefore hit them and not kill them. So any enemies, even if you can just blow on them and you'll still get that 700% charge. And multiple enemies, this does stack. You hit multiple enemies, you'll get 700% times those enemies that you hit. Just to clarify if anybody had a little misunderstanding in this notion. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole synergy to my build. I do have my bulwark iron, my muster point. I'm sorry. You can switch it out. I believe it's called you can switch it out for muster point that deploys augmentation shield. Augmentation like force field that increases damage by 20% on top of the 50% that you already have if you're at low health, or 25%. So that's 45% that just raw damage active when you activate this ability. And you can activate it before using your super or before letting off that Truth to Tarsus shot, or whatever situation you want to use it on, pop it on teammate or whatever. But yeah, that is my naval build on my ranger. It's a pretty fun and versatile build, I'll give it that. I can show you guys a little fashion of my ranger real quick. But yeah, it's a very fun and versatile build. Like, I wouldn't say it's the best, but I'd say it's high tier damage and high tier heals. It comes in clutch with your teammates. Your teammates will love you for this. So yeah, if you want to try this build out, give me some feedback down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video, and I'm out.